What are you gonna do with that?
Mom.
Gonna give it to Mom?
Yeah.
Okay, go give it to her.
Thank you. That's pretty. Can you smell it? Oh, it smells so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're just looking down here. Looks like there's some kind of a fire going on, maybe. Not sure if we're supposed to call somebody. As far as I can zoom in, eh? It's always hard to tell if it's quite a ways away. Kind of looks like a building fire though, doesn't it? Or is it just trash? Alright, we're still just wondering, is it like 10 seconds after the first little video we hear sirens now? My assumption is that they would be heading to this. Anybody see a fire truck yet?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. We can watch it from the hill.
Well, unless it's somebody's house, and it's not really cool. Sorry the camera's moving, guys. It's far away. Just simple breathing makes it move a lot. Almost looks like a shop or a warehouse or something. I still don't see those sirens though. A little farther along, looks like less smoke in my opinion. Still haven't seen any fire trucks, but it does look like the fire's going out. Maybe. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just a wind shift. I don't know. Fire department might be there already, I guess. Maybe that's why.
A fire truck, isn't it?
You see one?
Oh no, that's it.
Well, we heard the sirens, and I do think the smoke's getting less. Some of you are probably waiting for an update. I guess I haven't done one in a couple days now. So the heads got sent away, and originally we thought they were going to do them in a couple of days. That's what we were hoping. Then last we heard it was going to be like a month. So I can't remember how much I said this in the last video or not, but we ended up bringing the block to somebody else who was going to try to get on it right away. He understood the situation. I think I did mention some of this. The heads, we went to go pick them up to bring them to the other machine shop. When we went to pick them up, they said, no, we can get them done in a couple of weeks as well. Then that changed to, I said, well, could you get in a couple of days? He said, oh, he'll try his best, but they're swamped, blah, blah, blah. They ended up getting it done a day later. The next day, I got told they were done. And it wasn't just a simple resurfacing job. That's what we were aiming for, is going to resurface them and then check them out, make sure they're not cracked. They did check them out. They're not cracked, but there was some valves that were weak, I guess. And I think maybe there was one bent one. I can't remember. They overhauled the whole thing, cleaned it out, machined it, redid it. It's like 2 brand new heads now, basically. And they had them done the next day. So I was very thankful for that. Unfortunately, the block was not done the next day. They started on it immediately. That afternoon, we found out they already had it in the back of the shop, even though there was a whole line of engines sitting there that needed to be worked on too. So they got started on ours right away. I was pretty thankful for that. They ended up finding out though that 2 of the cylinders were slightly out of round. On the bottom of the cylinders, if I understand this correctly, they were true, but on the top, it was almost like they were tapered and a little oval on some of these cylinders. So what then needs to happen is that they need to bore it out, and that's going to take a little bit more time. So they will be boring it out again, I'm hoping it's going to be done soon. I talked to the guy myself, so maybe I could try to get him speed up. They're going to bore it out. They're going to put oversized new pistons in. We're going to be able to use the same cranks, it sounds like. 2 of the cranks did have a little bit of wear. Actually, just one had a bit of wear in it. If they can't reuse that, he says they have other ones on the shelf. Don't worry about that. We'll just throw that in free of charge. But the boring and the new pistons is going to cost me a bunch of money. And they, instead of ordering the crank and the other parts that we were going to online, they have everything in-house. So they're going to put the crank in, the new bearings in, camshaft bearings in. They'll bore it out. They will put pistons in, put the connecting rods in. What else? Forget. I think that's all new freeze plugs and all those types of things in there they're going to be putting into the block. So I'm still hoping, I really kind of hope that I'm going to hear later today that we'll have it done. It is Thursday right now, Thursday morning, and I'm hoping that maybe later today or tomorrow I'll hear that it is done. But they did say it could take up till next week. And then I talked to the guy and I'm like, could we get it done this week? And he says, well, I will, honestly, I'll do my best. And he was going to start on it that day, so still hoping. So that, I think, kind of puts it up to date there. We could pick up the heads, but there's no point. I mean, it's a 45-minute drive or so, half-hour drive. No point driving in there just for the heads when we have no block to put the heads on. So we're going to wait till the block's done, then we'll pick the block up, the heads up. I am going to go in today to the auto parts store here, pick up a few other things. I want some better headlights. I'm going to look into some leaf spring helpers. We did put Timbren, like a cushion block almost. We did put them in, and it's better. But I still really don't have a lot of suspension in the back. So I'm going to try a leaf spring helper, see if they can get me something like that. Headlights, I need a new dipstick tube. It broke. It was kind of cracked and we pulled it out and it's broke now. Spark plug wires. Forget what else was on the list. I got a sneeze coming on. Go away. There it is. Yeah, I think that was about it. There was something else I wanted. Anyway, we were holding off, waiting to buy those things to make sure we can get the engine fixed. Looks like we are going to go that route now, so it'll be nice to get some of these things fixed up before we head out, and we'll be able to drive later. We are also getting later into the season, so we're going to have less daylight hours, right? Depending on how much longer we do drive. So headlights will be nice. One other thing I want to do, we still got this here, which is generously provided to us by one of our viewers. I'd like to get that up here yet. I've been meaning to do it and just haven't got around to it, and I keep forgetting about it. So we have ladders here at the church that we've been using for working in the church. Might bring one of those ladders over here yet, clean up the back and get that stuck onto there so it's a bit more visible, easier to see. But anyway, that gets you up to speed. We're ready for breakfast here. Kids are eating watermelon. I smelled some sausage cooking and some eggs, so we'll get at that, and then we'll look at some of these things here. There was a fire here. I took some footage of that. It'll be in here as well. Just down the hill, so I don't know what it was. The fire department's all over it now. It does stink, yeah. I don't know, it's like plastic and stuff melting or something. I think it looked kind of like a shop or a warehouse. Anyway, fire department and everything's there, so it's all put out with a little bit of excitement this morning as we were watching that unravel. Always tragic, right? People's livelihoods, even whether it's a house or a business, doesn't really matter. Somebody's losing something, and it's always it's upsetting for somebody. Hopefully nobody's lives were lost like they had in Hawaii there. That's absolutely tragic. If you're not aware of that, look it up. Maui, I think the place is called. So far, I think there's 55 dead that they've found, but they're not nearly done searching yet. So it could be a much higher number. Be in prayer for them. Thank you again for your prayers for us and your continued support and prayers. Really appreciate it. I still haven't really thought what I'm going to do for the church here. I did have some requests privately for their address and such. I know there's already been some kind messages sent to the church, so we really appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, maybe that's an answer. Maybe if you felt like donating something, you could just donate it directly to the church even, maybe, for their kindness to us. It's been a truly great blessing, a humbling experience being here. And still, yeah, some of you have asked and donated to us for this as well. Once again, you don't need to do that. You don't have to feel like you have to do that. If you want to, then by all means, there'll be a link down here somewhere, or you can just reach out to us through email, through the comments here, or also you can find us on Facebook as well. So anyway, that's it for now. Probably add some more footage to this, but we'll catch you all later. Okay, we are like probably an hour and a half later. There's piles of firefighters. They've been battling, and it keeps like almost going out and then sparking back up. It just started again here. So I don't know what's in the building. I suppose you get hot spots, and then all of a sudden they could catch another barrel of something or a bale of something. Or I don't know. But we're just assuming that this is a business and not a house. For all I know, this could be a maybe it's spread to another building by now. Like, look at the plumes coming out of there. Right close to that hole here. That's there's a lot of smoke coming out of there. So hopefully everybody's okay. We'll keep monitoring. Of course, by the time you see this, it'll be long gone, I'm sure. We are cruising around the back of Edgewood here. Kind of neat. One community is a gated community, and it looked like they all had
Hangers.
yeah, airplane hangars. Like, their garages were really, really wide, and then they had, I don't know if you've ever seen them, the doors fold up in the middle. Kind of like they're down like this, and then they fold up like that. I don't know. Anyway, they fold up funny. And yeah, it was a gated community, private road, it said, but we drove through anyway. You can always pretend you're looking for a house. We're cruising back to Edgewood now. Went to a fabric store. Mama bought some fabrics. Make some skirts or something. That's what you're doing, or dresses?
Dresses for Ainsley.
Dresses for Ainsley. She actually took her sewing machine with in the motorhome, so she's got something to do this afternoon. And I picked up some parts for the motorhome, some new headlights, and a few other little things. So do some of that, clean up some of the parts, and get ready for whenever the block comes back. And so we'll be ready to do that. One thing we did notice: a lot of rundown places. I don't want to insult anybody that lives here. I don't want to be rude or nothing, but it's not exactly the sign of prosperity around here. There's lots of roofs that need shingling, lots of yards are falling apart, decks are falling apart, stuff that hasn't been painted in a long time. Considering this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, like, there's a roof there too. There's just a lot of this. That guy's roof is coming apart.
Just looks rough.
Very rough, and it's supposed to be, you know, the greatest place, and I just see more and more as we drive around, and it's in Canada too, it's all over the place. The inequality is huge. People just can't get ahead. Now, part of that, I still stand by, part of that is just pure laziness. People aren't willing to put the effort in. The way we got ahead, we worked, oh man, probably 15, 18 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week, to get ahead, to finally have a nest egg, to buy our first house, and then, you know, then you start using money to make money. You don't buy toys and stupid things. You take your money and you invest it in real estate, or that's what we did, and that then makes you money when it goes up in value. So I think it's still possible. I think it's still doable. They do not teach economics in school. Most of these people haven't got a clue. I mean, they work a job and they got enough money for a little bit of fun, and that's what they do with their life. But for another segment of society, some people just simply can't get ahead. You get a single mom or something that there's just no way that they could ever make enough money to get ahead, and I see that more and more here. So be curious to see what we find when we go across the pond. We're hoping to go to Georgia, European Georgia, later, maybe another month or two from now. I'm very curious to see what we see over there, and other countries in that area as well, as a comparison, just between what we're seeing here. Now, obviously, we're only seeing a small segment of America as well. I mean, this country is massive. We're not going everywhere. We're just going to a few areas. You're going to have your richer areas where it's going to be an astronomical amount of wealth, and everything's so nicely upkept. We don't typically go to those areas anyway.
Right, but even those pockets are small. Like, I find that those pockets are small. So, like in California, the out where we went, we wandered, or we drove all the outdoor areas because we didn't want to be in the big cities. There's a lot of rundown everything. But if we went into those cities, it's just pockets of like high-end, you know, mansions, basically.
Yeah. A lot of empty homes too. Like I did go to Albuquerque the other day, and I drove around there with a mechanic, and he showed me like the richer end of town, and it was nice enough, but it wasn't like super duper fancy or nothing. And it seemed like some of the houses were empty as well. So yeah, I don't really know what's all going on. Kind of stay out of that. I'm just telling you what I see. I guess every day, just my opinion, and based on what we see, and it looks rough, looks run down. A lot of people that you see just kind of look like hopeless. Their eyes are like lifeless almost. A lot of people. run into that are actually have a job and a half or 2 jobs trying to make ends meet. That one was interesting as well. And most of them had reasons like medical bills or things like that. They're trying to get caught up. So, I mean, how long can you do that? And like, can you take a 3rd job? Can you take a 4th job? Like, there's a limit to everything, right? You can't be expected to just continue to grind. There has to be some hope. If you get nothing for it, if you put all that effort in and you still can't get ahead, then that just becomes really, really hopeless and pointless. So, yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of what we see.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging